Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks in another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're going to be taking an up-close and personal look at a very funny little strategy that was sent over to the Discord channel. I've been thinking a lot recently, over the past couple of days. You might have noticed there have been no videos. I think it's time for a little bit of a change around here at the Brightworks, and I want to hear your input on it, because I value each and every one of you, and I want you guys to get an opportunity to say what you'd like to see around here. And I think it's time we mix things up a little. I've been covering kind of the same games for a good long while, and so I think today will be a good opportunity for us to have a look at something a little bit different, a little bit shorter, and a little bit more of a, shall we say, a cheeky kind of a cheesy strategy. I know that those are all out there, and I know certainly sometimes those can be very toxic, but I think today it will be a fun introduction, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about today's video in the comment section down below. You're, of course, also welcome to join the Discord if you have a replay that you'd like to submit that you think falls into this category that I'm calling micro builds or something like that. Something where it's a little bit less than a cast, a little bit more focused on a goofy, fun sort of a build. Something to change up the metal, to really harp down on exactly why I feel this way. I've been noticing a lot of toxicity in the community recently, and all of it seems to stem from people thinking that the meta is the only way to play the game. It's the only way that you can have fun while playing the game. And I just wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think that Beyond All Reason offers way more opportunities than basically any other RTS game on the planet at this moment. And I think it's kind of, it goes against the heart of Beyond All Reason to not encourage players to explore that sort of a thing. So, my ramblings aside, let's go ahead and jump into today's game. This one was sent on over by Jinx, our blue team leader here, the Armada Commander, who's going to be showing us apparently some very, very cheeky Beamer shenanigans. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, and you have been for a good long while, you might remember the Nostradamus maneuver. It was a famed now maneuver here where you build basically a ton of Beamers, and then eventually you fill them, or you fill abductors with them, the T2 heavy transports from Armada. Basically, you cover the entire sky with Beamer turrets and planes and drop them on the enemy base. Apparently today we're going to be looking at something very, very similar here. Our blue team leader, Jinxer, going to be going for some good old-fashioned Armada play here, going for a double Conbot on the front lines of All That Glitters, a map I'm sure all of you recognized almost immediately as we go ahead and get underway. A cheeky tick has actually made its way all the way into the backline, forces Nimbo off the queue here, and is going to cause a little bit of dismay. Not much damage here, though, I don't think, from that tick, so all is still relatively well. Our red team leader over on this side is going to be Kiana Weebs. Excellently named red commander right here is going to be pushing forward on the opposite of the canyon lane. I don't know what to call this here. This is the hero lane. This is often the lane that decides or loses the game. Very, very often. Well, I guess the canyon lane is the one that decides whether you lose the game. This is the lane that decides whether you win the game, I guess is a fair way of saying it. There's a lot of pressure on this commander, so it is interesting to see the red commander over here. But, yeah, our blue comm Jinxer is going to be our hero today. Walking forward proudly with that comm while we have the double constructors expanding in the backline. If you can keep these constructors well guarded, if you can keep any run-bys from happening, if your teammates don't leak any units past the front line into your backline, you can make it expand very, very quickly, and it shoots that economy through the ceiling, and all of a sudden you can have very powerful, very heavy forces out on the front line super, super quickly, going for an early E-battery. I actually kind of like that a lot. Yeah, this early E-storage can mean all the difference, especially when you're playing as an Armada commander. A lot of people undervalue the energy storage, but it is a really powerful tool. It's kind of the key that unlocks energy conversion early on. You can't really convert energy efficiently without an E-battery. You have to have one of those up and running, otherwise you literally don't have the space to convert all the energy that you can have. Every E-converter is 70 energy per, which means that, yeah, in just under, like, 13 E-converters, you've suddenly used your entire storage lot, and there's basically nothing you can do at that point except increase your energy. But I digress. Jinxer going for a very aggressive start here. We're going up on the commander to grab the 3.2 metal extractor, and then building the LLTs to deny the 3.2 here for sus name. Our maroon commander on the other side of the map here on the red team, also wearing that Armada Witch's hat. And riding that Armada Witch's broom. Royce Hellwalker taking a ton of damage from the LLT here for General Valdobi, our yellow core commander. Both pumpkin heads fighting each other here, but those thugs smell blood in the water. Yep, they want that commander bad. That commander took tons of damage from those LLTs.
Self-destructed.
Little self-destruct back here as we do see, ooh, very close call right there from from the Seafoam Green commander, who does actually accidentally blow up some of the base. but altogether does manage to at least keep most of the build power alive right here. It's going to slow the build down ever so slightly, but man, you can really tell how mirrored these builds are. Oh, sorry, here's the build strategic construction tracker. Very cool to see, always a fan. Osprey coming up and running, and I think we all know exactly where this is going to be going. I guess Jinxer isn't going to be our hero for today. Jinxer sent the replay. I didn't watch this replay ahead of time. I typically never do. I try not to avoid spoilers for myself and you guys as well. But we do have heavy transports up and running. Multiple coming up and running now, and we do have beamer turrets. Okay. And here we are. We've arrived at the MINI-DAMUS. The Micro-DAMUS. The Nostradamanito. If you have a fun Nostradamus, a miniature Damus name, feel free to leave that in the comment section too. I'd love to hear it. And this is the core concept, right? You pick up a bunch of beamer turrets with these heavy transports. They're slow, they're unwieldy, they don't have a lot of HP, but they can pick up the things that otherwise you would need a heavy transport in order to pick up, or a T2 transport in order to pick up. Like, for instance, these beamer turrets. And of course, we're gonna go ahead and drop these right over here. Ooh, towards the brown lane. It makes a lot of sense to fight in this lane. Obviously, in the choke points right there, where it's going to be quite difficult for these to really be engaged from. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, we're going to drop on the front line, though. Okay. Are we comm sniping? Are we comm sniping with, with tower drops? Okay. Alright, we've got beamer turrets dropped onto the front line all of a sudden. Well, that's not what I was expecting. I figured we were going for the back line, but you know what? It does make a lot of sense, right? Commander goes down on the left-hand side. Beamer turrets are, I guess, reinforcing over here. Aren't we going to need a little bit of build power in order to hold this? I mean, don't get me wrong, the beamer turrets are quite nice, but down go the transports over here. Okay. More beamer turrets coming up in the back line here. This is a bizarro build, and it's exactly what I wanted to showcase. This is not the norm. This is not the standard. This is far and away something extremely different from what we would normally see out of this player. Instead of just rushing up tech, they're dropping beamer turrets on the enemy's head. A couple of these shuriken over here on the left-hand side, making things quite difficult for the lime green commander.
Has died.
Meanwhile, it looks like the lavender commander will go down. Construction turret. Oh, that's the purple commander, pardon me. Construction turret does manage to get on top of that wreckage. We'll start reclaiming lickety-split. So the funny thing about the beamer turret drops is it solidifies the front line completely. Like, you can't really push into this the same way that you would normally. Like, you can't really just march your tanks or anything in there. You're gonna get overrun by the beamer turrets. It's kind of epic to see that, right? I hope my point is clear here, that there's a very diverse set of strategies available beyond our reason to its strengths. And I hope we can all agree that that's the right way to play bar, is to experiment and explore. And even if you lose a couple OS points, it's worth it to figure out what might work and what might not. And what's fun. Because I can guarantee you, Jinxer is having a blast right now. Watching beamer turrets get deployed to the front line, all of a sudden, all the spam warriors are dealt with here. Of course, the AA to shoot down the planes is necessary. If we can take down these enemy aircraft, then the beamers can just get picked up and get reorganized once more. We have more heavy transports moving out with another batch of beamers. Yeah, that is kind of sick. Anti-air trucks now firing out here. Again, whittling down that fighter count. Making it oh so difficult for the air player to react to this over and over again. Every one of those volleys that does take down a fighter is well worth it. Not to mention, of course, these fighters are not cheap. Clocking in at 73 metal a pop, and we've already seen dozens of them fall here. Fighters coming in to clear up the rest of what's remaining, but that wall's already been thinned out, so it does mean, well, the commander has gone down, but the beamer turrets basically have nothing left in play. Commander, of course, can degun these out of the sky if we're quick enough about it. But now the commander's dead. The air wall has fallen. The gates have been unleashed, and all of a sudden, the blue team has found a very, very odd strategy for fighting their way into the backline here. A couple of missile trucks. Ooh, we need to set that one down. Ooh, missile trucks trying their best. They get one of the Ospreys holding the beamer turret here. The other missile truck will be shot down by the stouts pushing in here, though, and the beamer turrets are deployed. Okay, yeah, pull the Ospreys back. Let's go grab these other beamer turrets, right? I mean, I feel like we just grab these and move these forward next. That is too good. Beamer turrets just carving away at the base over here. Melting that base into slag with their rapid-fire photon lances. Oh, no. An overwhelming early victory here, accelerated by some very clever drop shenanigans. Wonderful pressure from the blue team, of course, breaking this left-hand side very easily, holding on the right, and the red team does cave under the asynchronous destruction, the sort of asymmetrical warfare that the blue team opted for. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I know this was a very short video and not par for the course for the Brightworks, but like I said, I'm very excited for a little bit of a change around here, and I hope you guys will at the very least appreciate that idea. Hope to see you again in the very next cast, or the very next match, or the very next microscopic look at Beyond All Reason that we take. And I hope you have, more than that, a fantastic rest of your day. And I will see you again in the very next one. Peace out, everybody.